We've talked about sugar in the past many times, but not quite like this. We're going to deep dive into what happens when you quit eating sugar. Stay tuned. I'm Cristy Code Red, and you're listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, where we believe food holds the power to heal or poison, and we believe our society has been misled regarding proper nutrition and weight loss. You're in the right place if you're looking for some straight up truth, because I'm here to shed light on the lies and brainwashing that has taken place over the past 5 decades. Thanks so much for listening. Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I'm your host, Cristy Code Red, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer. And in this episode, we're going to deep dive into what happens when you stop eating sugar. Now, at first, I was going to say, what happens when you stop eating sugar for 2 weeks? But that was too long of a title. It's so funny because they give me podcast ideas, which I always appreciate, but they give me this long paragraph for a title. I'm like, no, it's got to fit like on one line. It has to be I got to make a much shorter title out of that. So if you're ever going to give me a podcast idea, just shorten it down, or at least just give me the idea and I'll think of the title. But yes, what happens when you stop eating sugar? What happens when you stop eating sugar? And I've got a list of things a whole list of things that happen because we know that sugar is a chronic dose-dependent hepatotoxin. Chronic, not acute, but chronic, dose-dependent. So there is a safe threshold. Chronic dose-dependent hepato, which is liver, toxin, poison. And in the amount that we consume it nowadays, it's just this toxic level of sugar that we're consuming. And we're the sickest and fattest in human history. We have so many metabolic problems and we're metabolically broken. We're obese. We have all kinds of inflammation. We have heart disease. We have all kinds of things happening. And a couple of podcasts ago, when we talked about cancer, we talked about people with obesity have a 71% higher chance of cancer. And so sugar feeds into cancer. There's all sorts of things that it does. And we're going to deep dive into exactly what happens. But over the course of the past almost 300 episodes, I've talked about sugar. We've mentioned sugar a lot. It's a staple in the Code Red lifestyle that we get off sugar. And it's not just the white refined sucrose, the white refined table sugar that we all grew up with, having a bowl of sugar on the table when we were growing up. That's what everybody thinks of when they think of sugar, but they don't realize that things turn into sugar, like croissants turn into sugar as soon as you swallow them. It's not just the cookies, the cakes, the wedding cake. It's not just the Fruit Loops. There are things like wheat thins that turn into sugar as soon as you swallow them. You don't think about that. Things turn into sugar. Processed food turns into sugar. Our bodies were never created to be able to break that down and metabolize it. So we have a whole host of metabolic problems because of sugar. So what happens when you stop eating sugar? The first thing that's going to happen, and I have a whole list of this, filling up an entire page of things, and they're not in any order of importance. I just started jotting things down. But I think the first thing that's going to happen when you first stop eating sugar is you're going to lose your craving for sugar. Taste buds regrow every 7 to 10 days. So when you stop eating sugar, you're going to have a whole new set of taste buds in less than 2 weeks, and you're going to stop craving sugar. You're going to notice when you stop eating sugar, you're going to lose weight. You're going to notice that your skin clears up because all that poison that you are eating is not coming through your skin anymore. Now, if you stop eating sugar on the Code Red lifestyle, you're going to notice that the increased water is going to help for so many things. And we've talked about water a million billion times, but that is going to help flush those toxins and get them pushed out. Hopefully they get them pushed out through your poop and pee and not through your skin, but eventually the skin really clears up when you stop eating sugar. You can go longer without food when you stop eating sugar because now your body is turning to stored fat as fuel instead of just glucose. When we do what our government has taught us to do, which is 3 meals and 2 snacks, then you're eating every 2 hours. You're eating constantly. And your body never has a chance to tap into stored fat for fuel, which it can do that. It's called the ketogenic lifestyle. It's called using ketones for fuel. And your body can do that if it's given the chance. If you don't give it the chance, because you're always feeding it all the time, it's just gonna feed on the glucose. It's the glucose is the preferred quickest fuel source for your body because it's quick. I mean, sugar's quick. It's instant high, instant energy. But of course, then you have the crash right after. So it's not a reliable source of energy. Tapping into your fat as fuel is a nice steady output of energy. But you'll notice once you stop eating sugar that you can go longer without food because now your body is using its stored fat as fuel. You'll notice that you'll have more energy. You won't be as sleepy during the day because, again, you're not going to be doing those giant spikes and dips because that's what happens when you eat sugar. You have these giant spikes and dips. But when you've tapped into stored fat as fuel, you have a more steady output of energy. So you're going to sleep better, which is going to help you wake up more refreshed, which is going to help you be less tired during the day. You'll notice when you stop eating sugar that the fat in the liver goes away. You'll notice that your vision improves. My friend Courtney has a husband named Bernie, and Bernie was a type 1 diabetic. I'm sorry, scratch that. Not type 1. Not so we don't talk about type 1s on Code Red. We talk about type 2 and pre-diabetics. Bernie was a type 2 diabetic, and only 2 months on Code Red. The pressure in his eyes, in his retina, reduced by 50%. His retinopathy. Am I getting that right, Courtney? Yeah. Peripheral neuropathy. No, retinopathy. Yeah. Anyway, I hope I'm getting that right. Now I'm recording this late at night, and I'm waiting to go to the airport for a late night flight. And you guys know I don't do as well at night, even though I look good right now. It doesn't. Don't. I'd be starting my bedtime routine, and I just got a notice that my flight was delayed here right before I started this. So, oh joy, we won't be getting in Hazel and me until 1 o'clock in the morning. But that's okay. We needed to make a quick trip. So you'll notice that your vision will improve once you stop eating sugar. Your immune system improves. Your immune system improves because sugar paralyzes the immune defenses. Sugar paralyzes your immune defenses. So by stopping the sugar, your immune system can improve. You'll have improved kidney function because the number one cause of kidney disease is excess sugar in the blood. Yes. So your kidney function will improve. Miles was never one to eat a lot of sugar at all, and really not even eat a lot of processed food, which of course is turning into instant sugar because it's not real food. And of course, the factories, they add sugar to things to make them taste better. So I was really glad because he got kidney cancer a few years ago, and they had to remove a kidney, and I'm just really glad that he does not eat like crap because he needs that one kidney to function correctly. So you're going to notice an improved kidney function when you stop eating sugar. You're going to notice that the signs of dementia will improve. Signs of dementia and memory loss will improve when you stop eating sugar. You will stop depleting nutrients like potassium, calcium, and zinc. Isn't that interesting? You'll stop depleting those nutrients. You will have improved heart function. Yes, you will start protecting your heart because you'll have less inflammation in your arteries. This is great news, and you'll have the risk for heart disease will drop significantly because remember, sugar causes inflammation. If you have atherosclerosis, let me just say it faster. That's the hardening of the arteries. If you have any kind of arterial problems, you're going to notice inflammation at that scene. Well, what causes inflammation besides an injury? like getting stabbed there or something like that. No, we're not talking about like an acute, like some kind of car accident or something. We're talking about hardening of the arteries or any kind of a problem. You're going to notice that there's going to be inflammation at that site. That's why LDL gets blamed for causing problems, because they find LDL particles at the site of an inflammation, at site of an injury of an article. The LDL particles are there to help. It's like blaming firemen at the scene of a fire. It's not the cause. They're there to help, but they have been given a bad rap. So you're going to notice improved heart functions. You will have a significant drop in your risk of diabetes. This is not new news to a Code Red Rebel. Anybody that has been on Code Red, eating real food, the proper human diet, of course, we eat meat, vegetables, nuts, eggs, seeds, seafoods, and fat. Anybody that's been on Code Red, where we cut out the grains, we cut out the sugar, we cut out the soda, you're going to notice your blood sugars drop. I mean, your fasting glucose drops, your demand for insulin drops, because you're not putting that kind of pressure, and you're on your pancreas. You're not demanding that the pancreas pump out insulin morning, noon, and night every 2 hours. Because if you're eating, on Code Red, we eat 2 or 3 meals a day with at least 5 hours in between each meal. That's a chance for all your hormones to drop to baseline, including your insulin. It's your pancreas is not pumping out insulin constantly. Therefore, you're giving your body a hot minute. And that's what diabetes is. Diabetes is the impaired, the type 2, in prediabetes, is your pancreas has become impaired and cannot produce enough insulin to meet the demand of your intake. So you are eating more glucose than your body can pump out the insulin to cover. So your pancreas becomes sluggish. You don't have enough insulin to bring your blood sugar down, so your blood sugar stays too high for too long, and you have a seizure, or you go into a diabetic coma. And running high blood sugars ain't no joke. That'll kill you. You have to bring the blood sugar down or you will die. And people know when you start Code Red and you stop sugar, which we quit sugar when we get on Code Red, your blood sugars drop down to normal. Remember, we want that fasting glucose at or under 100. The brain loves between 90 and 100. When you stop eating sugar, your sleep quality is going to improve. We talked about that earlier. You're going to wake up refreshed. You're just going to sleep better when you stop eating sugar. You will have less cavities, and not for the way that you think. It's because your mouth will become less acidic. Yes, people think, well, I have cavities because I'm having lollipops all the time. Yes, but no, it's because your mouth becomes less acidic. You will drop your risk for heart disease significantly. Again, we are not causing that inflammation in the arteries. Your heart's going to function. Your arteries are going to function so much better because sugar causes inflammation. You are going to be less angry and have less anxiety. And you're going to have a clear mind when you get off sugar. I'm telling you. And as far as your digestive system goes, you're going to have less bloating and less gas if you get off sugar. I can tell you that the couple of times that I have gone off plan and eaten something that wasn't the best for me, made a choice that wasn't the best for me, man, it tears me up. I mean, I have constipation, I have bloating, for sure gas, for sure. In fact, a lot of you guys, did I tell you guys this already? When the coaches and I flew to Jackson Hole, Wyoming on June 1st to run in the half marathon, the Grand Teton half marathon. It was all of our first half marathon. It was our first half marathon, all of us. I think maybe Coach Carey had run one back before when she first had Hunter or something. but we had none of us had run a half marathon before. Well, I hadn't eaten anything for about 16 hours. And that's the way I like to do athletic events. I hiked Mount Whitney with no food in my stomach. I did rim to rim of the Grand Canyon with no food in my stomach. I did all my boxing matches with no food in my stomach. I exercise every single morning and run with no food in my stomach. So I do not like having food in my stomach for any kind of activity. I just do best when I'm emptied out. And so I eat in a small window of time, and then I don't like falling asleep with food either. But when we were all lined up for the race, we were waiting for the race to start, and it was massively cold. Remember, it was June 1st in the Grand Teton Mountains, and it was in the 20s, and we were freaking freezing. We were freezing so bad. And they were serving hot cocoa at the starting line. And I went over and I ended up having 2 big cups of hot cocoa. And I didn't even think about it. I just saw a big container and it said hot cocoa on it. And I was cold and I was shivering. My hands were numb. And I walked over there and I just filled it up, a 16-ounce cup. And I slammed the thing down like I was on death row, turned and grabbed another 16-ounce cup and drank that whole thing too. Little did I know, they did not make it sugar free. They did Swiss Miss hot cocoa. I'm sure they added massive amount of sugar to it. They made it in a huge 10-gallon drum because there were over 2,000 runners. I mean, it was just a whole lineup. If you know how they do the lineup of porta potties, well, it was a lineup of hot cocoa, and everybody was drinking it. And I drank 2 big cups, so I drank almost a liter of hot cocoa with all that sugar in it and didn't even think about the sugar. Didn't even realize it. Didn't think about it. I was so cold. My mind was numb. I was so cold. And let me tell you, I was so sick. I was sick for the first 7.5 miles. In fact, I stopped. Not only did I go to the bathroom at the porta potties before the race started, I stopped 4 times during the first 4.5 hours. And I tried to go potty and my stomach was bubbling and I had bad gas. It was terrible, you guys. It was all because I introduced all that sugar into me and I hadn't had sugar for so long. And so you will notice how good your stomach feels. You won't have that bloating. You won't have that upset stomach. You just won't. And remember, sugar comes in all forms, all kinds of forms. Like over 80% of all the grocery items in the store have sugar in them. Like the chips and salsa, pure sugar as soon as you swallow it down. From here down, your body does not see it as different. You need to realize there's sugar in everything. That's why we just suggest that you don't have anything out of a box or a can. And I realize there are some exceptions like tuna fish, like canned chicken. But you know that they inject sugar into the rotisserie chickens at Costco? You know, they inject dextrose into and maltodextrin, which spikes your blood sugar higher. It has a higher glycemic index than white refined table sugar. They inject that into the chicken. Yes, everything. I mean, you really have to be careful. Tomato, spaghetti sauce loaded with sugar, ketchup loaded with sugar. You have to be careful what the heck you're eating. It's really best to not eat anything out of a can or out of a box because it is, there's added sugar to it. They add sugar to things, anything that says low fat. Well, you take the fat out of something, it tastes nasty. So they add sugar to it so it's palatable, so it tastes good. Food manufacturers quickly figured this out. Fat is good. When you make something low fat, it tastes like cardboard. So they have to add sugar back in. You guys go down that gluten-free aisle that you think you're having something healthy because it says gluten-free. It is just as junky as the rest of it. Be careful with sugar. Be militant with sugar. Be militant about what you put in your body because look at all these things that can improve if you get off sugar. It's absolutely unbelievable. And at first, you're going to detox for the first 4 to 7 days. And it's a legit detox. Some people it detox longer. Some people it goes up to 14 days, depending on how much sugar you're consuming. If you're drinking 5 Pepsis a day or even 1 full Pepsi a day, with 66 grams of sugar in it, you are going to have to come off of that, and it's going to be nasty. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be like a regular rehab. That's why somebody told me on Instagram, they asked me, they said, hey, I've got a pretty bad, nasty sugar habit, a Pepsi habit. And I said, like full on Pepsi, like Diet Pepsi or full on Pepsi? They said full on Pepsi. And I was like, switch to Diet Pepsi. You guys remember in the Code Red Diaries of Madness film where Heather Meldrum's husband is having like 5 Mountain Dews a day, full on Mountain Dews. And I begged her to switch him to Diet Mountain Dews. Just please switch to Diet. Please switch to Diet. He ended up having a heart episode of a while back, a year ago or whatever it was. And it's is anyone surprised? He never did get his life straightened out. He never did get off the processed food and the sugar. And I don't know. I don't know how he's doing now. I don't know if he's still alive. I don't know. I don't know how Heather's doing. I don't know. I've lost contact with them. I hope they're doing okay. But I'd rather see someone switch to Diet Mountain Dew than full sugar Mountain Dew. It's some of the worst stuff you can possibly ever put in your body. And, we're not talking about it because the sugar industry is very, very powerful. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of lobbyists, and they're going to do everything they can to make sure that you don't know the truth. But because of grassroots efforts like me, like Jake Thomas, like Ken Berry, like Paul Saladino, like Thomas DeLauer, like Jason Fung, like Sean Baker, all these different doctors and people coming forward and saying, you know what? They were wrong. And this crap is killing you. Hopefully, using a grassroots movement, we can spread the message of how nasty this stuff is. And look, there's a safe threshold for it, just like there's a safe threshold for arsenic. We believe it's no more than 20 grams a day total sugar. And you'll see that when you get on VIP and I write you a customized program, I will teach you how to log your food. It's very simple, and how to track. And you're going to be able to see right there how much sugar you're consuming. And it's not much, believe me. They're like, what about the sugar in carrots? What about the sugar in tomatoes? Oh, look, we know that carrots and tomatoes aren't making people fat. All right. The Arby's drive-thru is what's making people fat. The caramel macchiatos and cake pops, that's what's making people fat. The family night dinners at KFC, that's what's making people fat. Going to Golden Corral after church, that's what's making people fat. That's not the sugar in the carrots and tomatoes, guys. Let's just forget that idea right there. All right, that's not going to be your problem. That's not going to spike your blood sugar the way that Krispy Kreme is going to. The way that pizza is going to, the way that Costco samples are going to, the way that Lego My Eggo waffles is going to. I can't believe people feed their kids this stuff. Guys, we've got to wise up. And if you've ever thought about getting off sugar, just give it the college try. Give it a full 30 days. Get on the 10-pound takedown. Let us help you, because there are ways to ease those sugar detox symptoms by increasing your water, increasing your salt, by making sure you get a lot of fat in your diet. There are ways to get through it. You're going to have to pay the price the first 4 to 7 days. Buckle up. It's going to be nasty, but you're going to wake up on day 8 and you are going to feel phenomenal. You're going to have so much energy. You're going to have a clear head. But if you reintroduce sugar back into your diet and you let something slip and you just have just one Costco sample, just one bite, just one piece, just one slice, and you go back to junk food, you are going to have to detox again for another week. It'll be a week. It's pretty nasty stuff, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I do encourage you to get on our VIP program. I do encourage you to join the next 10-pound takedown. See for yourself. If you're going to do it, though, do it all the way. Don't dabble. You're going to make it worse on yourself. Just go cold turkey. Get off the sugar. Find out for yourself if it is better, because you don't know if you don't know. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. If you are looking for some hardcore accountability To get and keep this weight off, look no further because I've got VIP Connection. This is the ultimate connection to me, just short of me sleeping on your couch. You're going to get 3 daily messages from me in real time directly to you. You're going to submit your weight every Friday. We're going to go over it in a weekly meeting on Sunday nights, and I'm going to give you feedback. You'll have access to a monthly VIP breakfast with me in Boise, a monthly VIP supplement box, access to any workshop, any PDF promo that I hold for that month. You'll have access to the Ringside membership. And best of all, you'll have a fully customized nutrition program written just for you. We're talking about over $3,000 total value for $397 a month, and you can cancel anytime. Go to coderedlifestyle.com/VIP to check that out.